welcome back, or if you're new to the show, also a very big welcome to Dutch Diecast Collector. Today a unboxing video on the infamous ME4110. Now infamous not because the plane is infamous, it's because Corgi made a new mold here. They did some things that are maybe a bit experimental. The landing gear is apparently very challenging. We'll see in a sec, of course. I've seen 3 videos already where the landing gear falls apart when you put it in there. I think I'm gonna change that a little bit. I'm gonna make a modification in advance because I don't want to have my landing gear fall on me and I don't know where to put it back again. But you're gonna need blue tack and white glue with this model, so that's already a little preview. It's not an easy model to put together from what I've seen from videos, and I'm not expecting it for me to be much easier, probably even as worse. So this is one of those planes that will get a bit of a negative review also from me, but for those looks apparently it's really cool. But I haven't opened it yet. I'm really curious about what's inside, but we'll see in a sec. As I mentioned, there's a release for now, and the box art is really cool. As you guys can see, it looks really nice, so I'm looking forward to that. But more to that in a sec. We're gonna open it together and see how it goes. Okay, guys, so let's first dig into the box art, which looks splendid, really cool. I really like the 3D image that they made, so they used the model in a 3D setting as if it's doing a air-to-air fight. Nice details on there, the information on the pilot and so on. The collector's card is in there, that's really good. For the rest, the Hornby Hobbies information, a range of high quality detailed diecast. Now, we're going to get into that high quality part in a sec, because I can tell you already there's not much high quality in this one. Mainly high quality on the diecasting, but not so much on the parts that you have to install. But let's put the box aside. I already took her out of the box for inspection. So the plane comes as this, and it is foiled over. Now, the instant thing that everyone already remarked, and especially the people that are in the diecast review section, we all noticed this little pack here. It's the same weak pack that we saw back in the day on the Heinkel HE111. It looks a bit modified. It's not 100% the same one anymore. I think there's a metal pack going through and through. I couldn't inspect it 100% because, yeah, so this one is metal reinforced. So there's a metal pin going from the bottom to the top. Which is a good modification, so I'm happy with that. Because the old school one was a full plastic one, and what would happen over time, the plastic would crack. So it's a good upgrade. Might be worth to get Corgi to make more of these for collectors of the HE111. Although I think the next weak spot is now in the bottom, because you can hear the crackling sound already, if you can hear it on my mic at least. But that's the stand. By the way, for this aircraft, first advice I'm going to give you, you will put it on the stand. The wheels I'll show you in a sec what I did to them. I made a small modification. But first let's have a look at the plane itself, because that's a real absolute beauty. It's a stunner. So first starting glancing at just the basics of the camouflage. By the way, I'm not wearing gloves on this one. There are too many tiny parts. And I already saw how shitty the landing gear is in other videos, so I'm not going to put myself through that struggle. The antenna, nicely done. The pitot here, the airspeed sensor, the main cannon, of course, the giant gun, which they used to rip up planes with. The props are quite rough to move. Now, the oil that they used on the bottom here to keep it corrosion friendly, they should have used a little bit on the props. But the details then again on the engines and the yellow, it looks all okay. The gun moves a little bit inside. It's a weak plastic, so really be careful with it. But the same goes for the antennas on the bottom. Be very careful. The pilots inside, there are for the navigator and the gunner, of course, or the pilot and the gunner, sorry, good details. They're a bit hard to see. The glass is good, but not perfect. The canopy is not openable, by the way, guys, but the curves in the glass are really correct, because you have the angle to see for the gunner. The gunner controls these 2 gun pits in the back. They are movable. On some models, they're not as friendly to move, so you can put them all the way up, all the way down. But keep in mind, it's the plastic inside of this one is very weak. The first aid kit on the location, that's correct. And the swastika, of course, and the serial number of this plane. The other gun, same story, it's movable, depending on your model. Some of them move really easy, some of them move really rough. Yeah, if you're having a hard time, you want them to move, put some silicone oil in it and there's no harm. The EM, of course, accurate. Then the angle here, correct. The intake, correct. The intake here, correct. The engine exhaust, nicely done. The swirls on the propellers, nicely done. Stamping, of course, from Corgi. Yeah, you can see all the way down the frame. This is something a lot of people have been remarking. Now here comes the weak spot, and I hope I can get enough white on this little bastard. Give me a sec. Alrighty, guys, so I took a little flashlight with me. So I want to highlight one of the big problems right away. This is a loose module inside of the frame, so there is a lot of little peck holes here. One of them is weirdly shaped, that's the left one. I cannot hold them together, unfortunately, but the left top peck hole, where they're shaped, I will show you on the peck and the plane in a sec. What I do like is the little details inside, so there's some lines there, some expansion vats and so on. That's good, that was all nice. The little warnings on the bottom here. The clap here is from plastic, the rest is all mostly metal and die casts. But I can tell you already one thing, and it's not easy to put together. Now, was it cussing? Not really. This is a big mistake here. What should have happened was a full assembly, so it should be a squared out hole that you can put the full assembly. So the inside and this already mounted in there. So Corgi, if you're watching, make a change here. This is not how it's supposed to be. This is way too complex and way too sensitive. Now, I reinforced them, but I remember the first time when I saw people putting these little guys in, they instantly fall out. So that's a big misser. I'm not gonna dabble too much around with it right now, but as you can see, they don't stay really in. So they are very poor fitting, and yeah, it's not worth your time in my opinion. So you see already you're trying to put the wheel in and everything falls out. Now I lined them up as best as possible so they don't fall out right away, but if I would turn it around, probably it will fall out. So again, a lot of white glue, and I will put it together on the video for one time just to show you guys it's possible, but I don't recommend it, short to the point. So I'm gonna put it together for you guys and then be back in a sec. Alrighty guys, so the wheel's assembled, and that roughly took me 1-2 minutes. Why? Because I had pre-knowledge of what to do. So I had so many pictures of, for instance, Michael, thank you for sending me pictures, but also from Chris, our Australian friend. But the flap here, for instance, it doesn't stay really nicely in. What you mainly will hear when you're really helping them into the holes with this tweezer, you'll hear a clicking sound and then all engage. Now, I haven't flipped it around. Let's see if it falls apart. It would be fun. But I think it will stay in one piece for now. It's on its wheels now. But again, let me unclick here from the stand. One sec. So, it is not stable. It feels really weak and fragile. But it's okay. Let me take off the zoom lens for you guys. So yeah, it is okay. It's not bad. But there is a big modification welcome. By the way, the parts that are in, when you get it, they have these little claps. I will put them back in. This one will go in flight mode eventually. But let me see if I can zoom in on the landing gear so you guys can see maybe, hopefully, my modification. So you see it's a bit welded together, the plastic. I took a model building glue and I glued together the frames. That's the pre-knowledge that I had of doing. And for me, it works, guys. It's up to you. So you see they're all in the right packs right now. Is it really bad? Yeah, in my opinion, it's not good. Corgi should have done better. The rear is okay, but it's also very fragile. It's also not really a thumbs up from my end. It's a thumbs down. But is it impossible to put together? No, you just need some Pret or some blue tack, and you will need some good glue to put it together. But for us, it's a stunner. It's a really nice looking little plane. I think mainly I had the fortune of already knowing a lot from watching videos from other people that made this a little bit easier for me. But I really recommend when you get them and the landing gears are not broken yet in the box, really weld them together with a good plastic glue and then let it dry, let it sit. Then they will be in the right position, and then when you put them in the spot with the tweezers, it is not so bad. So that's my recommendation for this plane. But my real recommendation, wait a little bit. Maybe Corgi will make some modifications to the landing gear. Then I would recommend to hold off on it. I'm going to put her in flight mode for you guys, hopefully to see another option of it. I hope in flight mode it looks okay, but we'll see in a sec. So that's the plane in flight mode again. So what I did, I put a little bit of silicone oils on the points of this one, because what I think will happen in 10 years, these little clips here that you see, these little guys, they will snap off quite easy, I'm afraid. So I would recommend putting a little bit of silicone oil on it. It doesn't harm much. WD-40 for instance, and just a little dab on each point and then put them in, which makes them super smooth to grab out. They don't fall out easy. You hear the clicking sound when you push them through. But a highly recommended one. Now let me put the plane in a safe position. It's a nice firm stand, by the way. It's not ugly, but it's also not super pretty. By the way, work on a platform when you're working on your aircraft. So I want to show you the modification that I did to it. Not modification, I just connected it. So I put a little bit of Tamiya cement in between the connection here. I think second glue would also do the job, but just to weld this whole frame together, because it's just one little peck hole, like one of these little guys that's inside of this frame, that holds together and makes it super weak. And it's, as soon as you want to put it in and try to fiddle it in its place, click, it's sound. And now it's at least stable and sturdy, so you can actually move all these little pecks. So that's my recommendation and modification that I would do to make this thing on landing gear. Now the other thing that I did, of course, from putting white glue or a little bit of blue tack. I can hope that I can get it on focus for you guys. Let me put it in the tweezer. So what I did, I put a little dab of white glue on it just to make it last in there. You can also put a little dab of white glue inside the hatch and then hold it against the wheel. The wheels are movable, by the way, guys, but very hard. As you might notice, I made it so welded that now if it will snap off if I really modify it too hard. But at least now you can put them in safely. So either Corgi makes this a metal structure that's from one piece from Diecast, or they make a full assembly that goes into the frame. I'm more a fan of the full assembly because you can keep all the details. The rear wheel, not bad. It's half-mooned, so there is a half-moon in there, but it's really tiny again. So if you have big chubby fingers like some of my friends do, it becomes very hard. So yeah, the glue, as you can see, you can just grab it off and it doesn't leave any harm on the plane. But that's the landing gear problem roughly solved for this one. There's not much more you can do. For the rest, I'm going to put this little guy on a turning table to show you guys. I'm going to put away my landing gear and then call it a day. Hey guys, so there you have it, a finished M4110. Not bad. Yeah, so I get why people are frustrated with the landing gear. I understand it. But I think if you really weld them together, you can put it easily on landing gear together with some tack or blue tack. That will make your life a lot easier. For the rest, the plane itself is adorable. It's really nice. The details in the canopy, I'm very impressed by the glass, the paint job, the details in the painted decals, the little wooden shoe, the propellers. This all looks splendid. I'm really in love with the model itself. Just the landing gear that could have been a bit improved. With that little modification that I just showed you guys, I think you can solve it for yourself. But Corgi, I think you can step your game up here. If we're paying €100+ for one of these models, which they cost, by the way, I think. They're 1,300 made, X the money. I think you can do better. So the mold update, I think, for the inside, which should have room, should include a full assembly wheel, but the stand at least is upgraded with a metal pack inside, so that's really good. The pitot looks nice, it's replaceable, the harness up top is replaceable. The props are a bit hard to move, but for the rest, a very cool, nice model. So I want to thank you guys again for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, especially curious about your experience with the landing gear, and hope to see you next time. Thank you, stay safe.